Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now. Black power.
Support this man, Black media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? Today is Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026. Coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. Supreme Court says no to Rastafarians locks in prison. The Nation Justice correspondent Elie Mystal will join us to break it all down. The MAGA attack on voting rights faces a crucial setback as a federal judge stops states from using software developed by immigration enforcement to review their voter rolls. Funeral services for a one-year-old black boy killed by police in Mississippi have been set, and the family attorney, Ben Crump, is calling for an independent autopsy. The Senate passed a new bill targeting Wall Street buying single-family homes. The president of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers will join us. Plus, an Ohio cop has been placed on leave after a bystander and body camera video shows him kneeling on top of a 15-year-old girl following an altercation at a Juneteenth festival over the weekend. And in the latest installment of crazy-ass racist white people, a black man and his family, they're just fishing on a Florida beach until a racist Ken and Karen decide to show up. It's time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got whatever the piss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the fine. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, roll, y'all. It's Roland Martin, yeah. Rolling with Roland now. He's funky, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now.
You would think this extreme court, which loves religious freedom, would side with the Rastafarian when it comes to his locks in prison. Well, nope, that's not what happened. They rejected a lawsuit filed by this former prisoner in Louisiana who said the state officials violated his religious rights when they shaved off his dreadlocks. Damon Landor, a devout Rastafarian, had taken what is known as the Nazarite vow and for 20 years had allowed his hair to grow. But 4 months into his 5-month prison sentence, guards at a new facility handcuffed him to a chair and shaved his head, despite the fact that he provided them with proof of his right to religious accommodations. Landor attempted to sue the prison warden and the guards, but a federal judge dismissed the case, saying that Landor was not entitled to sue individual state officials for violating his religious rights. An appeals court upheld that ruling, and Landor pursued the case in the Supreme Court, where in a 6-3 vote, they said, sorry, ain't gonna happen. Now, what might surprise you, the Trump administration had backed Landor in the dispute, arguing that prohibiting incarcerated people from suing for monetary damages from government officials who violated their rights would undermine religious liberties. And the Supreme Court decision is a rare loss for a plaintiff who was arguing that his religious liberties have been violated. Elie Mystal, Justice correspondent for The Nation, joins us right now. Elie, explain this here, because again, this extreme court is always religious liberties, religious freedom, and then it's kind of like, yeah, we don't give a damn about this Rastafarian.
Yeah, Roland, I hate this case. I think this is going to go down as one of the worst cases in this term, and that's with me understanding all the other horrible things the Supreme Court is about to do. You said it exactly right. The Supreme Court has a tradition of upholding religious liberty cases. It turns out that as long as you claim Jesus makes you a bigot, the Supreme Court's on your side. The Supreme Court wants to hear that case. But when it turns out that you claim that you have a religious right to not bother anybody, to not be bigoted to anybody, to not refuse to bake anybody a cake, to just grow your hair. No, the Supreme Court doesn't want to hear that. As you pointed out, this is not the Supreme Court overturning the constitutional right for free exercise of religion. This is not the Supreme Court even disagreeing that landlords' religious rights were violated, which of course they can't, because as you pointed out, Landor went to prison with a court case, specifically proving to the officers that he had a right to keep their hair. And you know what the officers did? They ripped the court case up, threw it in the trash before they handcuffed him and forcibly shaved his head. Right, so like that was the horrific experience that Landor experienced after he got out of prison, and he was only in prison for 5 months on a drug possession charge. This was during the last 3 weeks of his sentence that they shaved his 20-year-long hair growth. So after he gets out of prison, he sues under a congressional statute. Congress has passed a law, it's called the Religious Land Use blah, 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 blah Act, saying that prison correctional officers have to respect people's First Amendment rights to religious liberty. Congress passed a law that gives people more protection than the Constitution, all right? And that is the law that the Supreme Court said, yeah, no, we don't care. No, you're Christian, but you're not the right kind of Christian, and so we don't care. And so they threw out an entire congressional law. That's why the Trump administration was on the side of the Rastafarian. It's not because the Trump administration suddenly came to Jesus and realized that all religions should be treated equally. No, 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 no. What the Trump administration was saying is that we have a federal law here that is supposed to protect this guy that the courts are overlooking. And the Supreme Court went against the Trump administration and against Congress by throwing out this law. So then you have to ask why, right? Then you have to ask why this, as we keep saying, this religious court, this Christo-fascist court, when you look at some of their rulings, this court that always seems to find a right to Christians to do whatever they want, especially if what they want to do is embarrass and humiliate gay people. Why did the court overturn this specific religious law? And when you dig into it, and this is pointed out by Ketanji Brown Jackson in her dissent, she was the one who really elucidated this. What turns out is that the way the court, the grounds on which the court decided the ruling, it was about the spending clause to the Constitution, right? The spending clause says that if you take money from the federal government, which lots of people do, then you have to abide by certain rules, regulations, responsibilities from the federal government that might in fact be over and above what's required by the Constitution, right? And it's that particular power that the Supreme Court, Neil Gorsuch, 6-3, was trying to undercut. He was saying that the spending clause is not to be understood as like a normal law passed by Congress. It's more of a contract. And if you don't agree to be part of the contract, then you can't be hurt under the spending clause, which means in plain English that Neil Gorsuch says that in order to be held accountable to laws passed under this power, you have to agree to be sued. Roland, do you know any other laws that you have to agree to follow them or else they don't apply? Apparently now we have a whole new category of laws that only apply if you personally agree that they should apply to you. So now we look at what other laws are passed under the Congress's powers under the spending clause. And I have a couple. It's Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, which prohibits discrimination on the basis of race. That is passed under the spending clause. It's Title IX of the Civil Rights Act that prohibits discrimination on the basis of sex. That's under the spending clause. It's the Americans with Disabilities Act. All of the enforcement mechanisms of the Americans with Disabilities Act are passed pursuant to Congress's power under the spending clause. So when you cut the spending clause, you are taking a direct shot at civil rights laws, anti-discrimination laws, and the Americans with Disabilities Act. You're taking a direct shot at those laws. And that's why the Supreme Court decided that this Christian, this black Christian, maybe doesn't get the First Amendment protections that everybody else does.
We are consistently trying to explain to this audience that what you are witnessing from this extreme court is a direct attack on Black America. I'm calling it a GOP war on Black America. I have been yelling and screaming that what their aim is just to completely eradicate and destroy the entire civil rights, economic rights, social justice infrastructure the Black America has benefited from, albeit not greatly, but still benefited from the last 60 years. And they want to further go back and eradicate, frankly, the Reconstruction Amendments, 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. And so what they are doing is they are methodically going after the entire infrastructure. And I need Black America to understand that this is a 10-alarm fire. This is if you want to talk about how heightened folks should be, this is it. This is not just, man, that's just some little ruling. No, they know exactly what they're doing here, Elie.
No, I think I've heard you say, Roland, on this program that it's not it's a deconstruction agenda, right? That it is truly the Republican Party has decided that America made a horribly wrong turn in 1964. I mean, they really think that America made a horribly wrong turn in 1865 when Lee gave up after getting his ass kicked. But specifically, they think that America made a horribly wrong turn after 1964. And they're trying to deconstruct point by point, legal foundation by legal foundation, the entirety of the civil rights movement, including specifically now the Civil Rights Act. And that has been on display. It's primary day where I live in New York. It's primary day here. And I often have to explain to Democrats or only sometimes voters what the difference between the two parties is, right? Like what's the big difference between Democrats and Republicans? And look, I can spend a half an hour on this show talking about my issues with Democrats. But one of the things that Democrats are not trying to do is deconstruct the civil rights era. They might not protect it as much as we want them to. They might not be able to advance it as much as they should. They might ignore it when they shouldn't, but they're not trying to rip it out by the studs. And that is what the Republican Party is doing. And that is what they will continue to do as long as we allow Republicans to control the Supreme Court. As you pointed out, Roland, this was a decision against the Trump administration. It's not going to get reported like that because everybody just assumes, well, there's no way that Trump likes Rastafarians. And there's not. Right, so it's not going to get. It's not one of Trump's big ticket items, right? It's not as important to Trump as his, I don't know, ballroom. So it's not going to get reported as a loss for the Trump administration and the way that people think about it. But this is a direct loss for the Trump administration. The Trump administration wanted to protect this law, wanted to protect religious freedom as passed by Congress. Didn't want this fight. This is something that the Supreme Court did on its own volition when they, and again, they didn't even have to. Because, as you pointed out, for the Fifth Circuit, the lower court of appeals, this happened in Louisiana. Those go up to the lower court called the Fifth Circuit. The Fifth Circuit is the most conservative court in the world, actually. And the Fifth Circuit already threw Landor's claim out. They were already against the Rastafarian, right? So for the Supreme Court to take this case just to affirm what the lower court already had in place, they did it for a reason. They didn't have to take the case. They did it specifically to start to lay that or start to crack that foundation on which the entire Civil Rights Act is built.
Yesterday, we discussed this here, and it's the same thing in this Arkansas United versus Thurston. This is from SCOTUS blog, where they said the court had been asked to decide whether private individuals can enforce Section 208 of the Voting Rights Act, which allows voters to receive help if they are blind, disabled, or cannot read or write. It arises as part of a challenge to a state law that bars anyone other than election officials from helping more than 6 voters. I have been yelling and screaming for people to understand this particular case, and the Supreme Court refused to hear the challenge. And really what this is about, again, people need to understand, it's setting the groundwork. What this extreme court and the right wing doesn't want to do, they do not want third-party groups suing when it comes to voting discrimination. This is targeting the ACLU, NAACP Legal Defense Fund, Laws Committee for Civil Rights Under Law, Black Voters Matter, any group that is engaged in litigation. They argue that only the DOJ can actually sue, no one else. This is going to be expanded as well. This is a Trojan horse case.
People need to understand that cutting off the right to sue is the same as letting the person get away with it scot-free, right? Cutting off the right to hold a person liable for a violation means that violations don't matter, right? If there is no enforcement mechanism, if somebody violates your rights, if somebody steals your car, if somebody punches you in the face, and there's nothing you can do to them, then there is no law against violating your rights or stealing your car or punching you in the face, right? If there's nothing that you can actually do to hold them accountable for their acts, then their acts are unaccountable. And so and it's happening in the Rastafarian case, it's the same thing where they're just saying, again, the guy's rights were violated, but there's no person for him to sue. There's no legal redress for that violation. So it means that they get away with it. It means that the correctional officials in Louisiana get away with it under the case you're talking about. If people are denied their right to vote on account of disability, it means that they get away with it. So when the Supreme Court cuts off the right to sue, they are truly making it impossible to hold people who commit crimes or illegal acts or constitutional violations from being held accountable. And it's as simple as that. And the only way to fix that is to fix the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court gets to decide who has the right to sue or not. Again, in the case that I'm talking about, Congress passed the whole ass law saying that you have the right to sue the correctional officers if they violate your constitutional right. And the Supreme Court just, they're no different than the actual officers that shaved off Landor's hair. They looked at that law from Congress, they ripped it up, they threw it in the trash, and then they laughed about it. Like that's where we are. And so until you reform and repopulate the Supreme Court, you don't have the ability to protect your rights, even if those rights are written down in legislation or statute.
And what we also need people to understand is that if you believe that the extreme court needs to be reformed, that can only happen with Democrats taking control of the House, taking control of the Senate, and taking control of the White House. You can't touch the White House until 2028, but you can impact the Senate right now in November. You can impact the Senate and the House again in November 2028. What I keep telling people, and I was in Columbus, Ohio last night with Congresswoman Joyce Beatty for a State of Black America discussion, there for the 3rd year in a row. And I'm like, guys, this is real simple. Everything we're talking about, if you are angry about this extreme court, if you are angry about what Doge has done, if you are angry that 800,000 black men and women lost their jobs and black unemployment has gone up, if you are angry about the attacks on DEI, if you're angry about cuts to black maternal health and all the research dollars and the grant dollars, if you're angry that we have seen a significant drop in black-owned businesses getting federal contracts, well, the only damn way for you to stop that is maximizing your vote. There is no other way. They're literally, and let me just say it again, and Ellen, I want you to speak to this. I need people to understand, there is no other way. There's no other thing that's sitting out there that hasn't been tapped or touched that is going to change this. The only way this changes is by voting.
100%, right? Like There's nothing that I'm talking about. There's nothing that we ever talk about that can't be changed by voting, right? Now, when I say that, I know that a lot of people, especially people who are watching your program, Roland, you got some intelligent viewers. Your people vote, right? People who are watching you are people who are switched on and engaged, and for the most part, they do vote, right? And so I am certainly one of those people who, again, it's primary day. I went out earlier today and voted in my Democratic primary. I am one of those people who votes all the time and rarely sees the changes that I demand with my vote, right? And so that leads to this sense that, like, oh, voting doesn't matter. And that is the wrong conclusion to take, right? It's not that voting doesn't matter. It's that voting isn't enough. Voting is the start of the process. Voting is the least common denominator. When you think, what's the least I can do? The very least you can do is vote. If you want to see change, you have to vote and, right? You have to do your basic duty. You have to do the basic least common denominator thing, and then you have to go above and beyond and demand the change that you seek. So when it comes to Supreme Court, I like to say, like, look, I can scream at Hakeem Jeffries until I'm blue in the face, right? I can scream at Chuck Schumer until I'm blue in the face about court reform. They're not going to listen to me. They will listen to all y'all. They will listen. If everybody is screaming at them about court reform, well, then guess what? The Democrats will adopt court reform. And we know this works because it works for the Republicans. Once all the Republican voters start screaming about a thing, the Republicans snap to attention and start doing whatever it is their crazy, toothless, yokel people demand that they do. And so those people on the Republican side, they not only vote, they complain. You know how Obama said, don't boo, vote? I disagree with Obama on that. Do both. Do both. Vote and then boo. Don't just boo and not vote, vote and then boo, because it's the booing that actually inspires, oh, you're not going to get this vote next time if you don't do what we're booing about. That's the both and solution to these problems.
Absolutely. Elie, is there any other major thing we're looking out for with these decisions coming down?
Sure. We're in the last 12 days of the term. Usually the Supreme Court wraps it all up by July 4th weekend. I expect them to do the same. So in the next week, we'll probably get another 10 or so decisions. The big ones that everybody is looking for, the big one that everybody's looking for is their birthright decision, birthright citizenship decision. That should be coming down within the week. I've got two other cases that I'm really concerned about as well. And I think that, you know, I don't want to get egg on my face. I'm still hopeful that birthright citizenship goes the right way. There are two other huge cases that I'm looking at that I do not think will go well. One is Hecox. It's about trans athletes and their rights. I think the court is going to continue its crusade to eradicate trans people and especially trans children. And then I'm also waiting for the temporary protected status cases involving Haitian immigrants, which the Trump administration by fiat just decided shouldn't exist anymore. I'm waiting to see if the Supreme Court goes along with him. They probably will, but I'm still waiting for that decision too.
I just remember this one thing I got to ask you. Did you see this story out of Texas where they are handing out, the Guardian wrote the story, they're handing out 50-year prison sentences for people who are protesting at an ICE facility under the terrorism clause? What the hell?
On my website, The Nation, Dick Gephardt. Oh, you're old like me. You remember Richard Gephardt, right? Dick Gephardt.
Yep, out of Missouri.
Right, out of Missouri. He wrote an article for my magazine, The Nation, where he called what's happening a rolling coup. And if you remember anything about Dick Gephardt, he was not a rabble-rouser, right? He was not a firebrand guy. He was not prone to hyperbole. And Dick Gephardt is out here calling what the Trump is doing, specifically with these ICE arrests, a rolling coup. It is the imposition of fascism on our world. We live in a world where January 6th white domestic terrorists got pardons after attacking the Capitol and smearing their poop on it. And yet we have people, and when we say Antifa or whatever they call it, there's no actual, the government isn't even defining what organization they're part of, what Antifa means, they don't got no capo of Antifa. They ain't got no organizational structure. They're just saying if you protest, you're Antifa, and Antifa is a terrorist organization, and so we can charge you under terrorism statutes without actually proving that Antifa exists, how it's structured, or obviously what terrorism they are promoting. So it is a coup. It is fascism on our streets. And we're in a situation where if there is ever a Democratic president again, Democratic president will have to pardon those people. I mean, like it'll have to be a first 100 days priority for that president to pardon these people who are now being unfairly prosecuted under trumped up terrorism charges based on no evidence of being in any kind of international conspiracy.
It is absolutely insane. Elie Mystal, Justice Correspondent with The Nation. We surely appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much for having me. Go Ghana!
Folks, y'all already know how I feel about the World Cup. I ain't watching nothing. I ain't watching now one game, one nothing. I'm like, I ain't watching soccer. But hey, if that's your thing, knock yourself out. So I'll look at the colorful outfits. All right, y'all. Let me go to a break. I'll be right back. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Chapter. Now, if you're in Medicare or about to be, the system is not set up to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans, and too many people making money off of your confusion. And look, we're used to this. We're no strangers to systems that don't have our best interests at heart. But we don't have to accept it when it comes to Medicare. That's why I'm telling you about Chapter. Their advisors are independent and honest. In fact, they're the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. And they're focused on one thing: what works for you. If there's a better plan out there, they'll find it. If you're already in the right one, they'll tell you that too. There are no games. Just last year, people who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100. It's 20 minutes and a real person. It's completely free. My parents actually have already called. My mom sent me a text. Folks, give Chapter a call at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281, and connect with someone you can trust. Folks, these are the kind of services that we need for our audience here at Roland Martin Unfiltered and the Black Star Network. So call Chapter right now, 724-264-8281.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Devon Franklin. It is always a pleasure to be in the house. You are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. Stay right here.
All right, folks, let's bring in my panel today. Glad to have them here. Joining us, Dr. Mustafa Santiago Ali, former senior advisor for environmental justice at the EPA, Joe out of D.C. Joe Richardson, civil rights attorney, joining us from L.A. Khalil Thompson, executive director, winwithblackmen.org from D.C. Mustafa, I'll start with you. I want to read from something. First of all, in that 6-3 Landor decision, the dissenting justices, Sonia Sotomayor, Elena Kagan, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, they warned the decision will leave prisoners like Landor, who suffer violations of their religious rights while incarcerated, remediless. This is what she wrote, quote, encroachments on prisoners' statutory rights are likely to happen with fair frequency, as state-empowered prison officials will have little incentive to abide by federal law, even if it is handed to them on a piece of paper. And that's just a fact. We see this also with how Donald Trump and his cronies are operating. They're like, we don't give a damn, we're flouting the law. And so this extreme court has basically said to these prison guards, doesn't matter, the person's federal rights, do whatever the hell you want to do.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we should say for those who don't know or follow the Rastafarian religion, that our locks are sacred covenant with God. And that's the way that Rastafarians see that. So that's why it's so incredibly important for those protections to be in place, because when it's taken away, it is also breaking that covenant with God. Now, in relationship to the Supreme Court's decision today, it's nothing new, right? We continue to see this narrowing of the ability to challenge racial discrimination. We continue to see it, in relationship to the court, whether it is around education or the environment around voting, around housing, around employment. We continue to see, I used to say the narrowing. Now I say it is the strangling of civil rights laws, because they literally want to take the life out of the remaining aspects of civil rights laws that we have to keep us safe. But we continue to see this court, this extreme court, to continue to take those away. And of course, those who dissented, they were exactly correct in how they are framing this out. And we have to pay attention. And that's why, I was so glad to hear both Elie and you talking about why we have to vote. And it's not just one election, it is multiple elections if you seriously want to change the dynamics of the court, and the lower courts as well. So we just have to make a decision if we truly want to stand up and protect ourselves and those who are, dealing with racial discrimination and other forms of discrimination inside of this country, because, the alarm has already been sounded. We have to decide if not only ourselves, but those folks who call themselves allies are going to show up to vote and to continue to raise our voices and put a spotlight on what's going on.
The thing to me that is crazy here, Joe, and what the people are saying is that, hey, we really only care about a white theocracy. We really care about white Christian nationalism, not anybody else's religion.
Yeah, you thought maybe we had a chance between the Trump administration supporting this and this being about religion, right? This would seem to be consistent with what they say. Oh, religious freedom, we're all for that. We're all for you expressing yourself religiously. And even when the Trump administration's on our side, apparently, the Supreme Court still undoes it. And so while a lot of people may look at us sitting here on Roland Martin Unfiltered saying, man, these cats are really out to undo Black folks to the point of not even following their own rules. And we seem out there, and we seem radical, and we seem fill in the blank, whatever it might be. But what else can you come up with? If they are breaking their own rules pertaining to religious freedom, typically there's not a narrowing of religious freedom, there's an expansion of religious freedom. And what do you do, to Elie's point? What do you do if you can't sue the person that's responsible for breaking what is a federal law? They've got no reason to follow the law at this point. And so you continue on, and you sound like a broken record, Roland, but it's a pretty good record. And it's a hit because it's telling the truth about what's happening to us here. There's no reason for this inconsistency. There's no reason for the other ones either. But there's really no issue and no reason for this inconsistency when even the Trump administration supported the upholding of religious rights as dictated by Congress. The question for the Supreme Court is not even whether or not they like it. It's never about whether or not they like it. But if the legislature has already moved in a particular situation and someone being a Rastafarian does not impinge or infringe on any other person's rights, then why on earth would you overturn it? There's no good reason other than to say this is another way that this Republican out of the box, way out of the stable, and all the way down the field Supreme Court, this is another way that they're trying to undermine Black folks to the extent that we can't even follow it. We don't even know what the rules are. You can't play a game if you don't know the rules. And that's the problem that we have.
And Khalil, the point that I made very simply to Elie is that the only way to switch courses, to change what is going on, is for there to be a massive response at the ballot box. Now, we know who we target on this show. Like I said, I was in Columbus last night. I'm going to be in Fort Lauderdale next week. We're going to be in Richmond, Virginia for the Democrats Commonwealth Gala on Saturday. And I'm saying it over and over and over again. The only way it happens, you have to have a massive turnout. And the reality is, if you're progressives, if you're Democrats, you're going to have to put time and money, resources on the ground to turn people out. You cannot assume folks are going to turn out. You cannot assume that, oh, these people are really upset with affordability, with this extreme court. They're really upset with these things. They are going to turn out. No. The only way this thing changes is if people, again, go hard to the ballot box. That means getting informed today. That means registering. And that means getting folks to the polls in November.
I couldn't agree with you more. You know we are a partner in this work. I was on with you and Reverend Barbara that hosted the training. I don't know if it was last weekend or the weekend before, but was on and got trained on the texting program that you're going to have us use, and other brothers from around the country that signed up. I think this is the moment, but we all should be clear about history and context. We know the evangelical right has been moving over the last 2 to 3 decades to come to a place where they want us to return back to this 1950s era. Taking us back 61 years prior to the Voting Rights Act, and that's where they really want to turn. But they're in this conflict right now because the Trump administration isn't necessarily aligned on all the things that they want. And so when we're talking about religious freedom, it seems to be a cherry picking of what they really are supporting. And then we're also noticing that in this particular case, it's only against us. We're not trying to make it about race. I know all of you brothers would love to just wake up, live, and be Americans in America and go on about your day, make money, and raise your family. And so in order to do that, Roland, you said that in the previous segment, the most powerful tool that we have is our vote. What I've heard today in Maryland and in Utah and New York is that some brothers are asking me, well, what's the point? I'm really frustrated. I'm not seeing a government that represents me. And you have the power to change what that government looks like, what that judge looks like, what your clerk of the courts, your school board. You have that power today. And so many, and I know this may not seem like it connects, I wish it would, but so many fought so that you could freely go in and vote no matter when you want, whether it's by mail, early, or in person on election day. And the fact that there's got to be so much is troubling, but that's my own intellectual cross to bear. And I'm with you. We need supporters. So yes, we need folks on the left, on the progressive, and anybody else that wants to support our work and get behind us. But we also need ourselves. I know you're doing work. We're doing work over here at Women Black Men. We need folks to pour back in. So whether that means you don't go to the club this weekend, you sit at home and watch the BET Awards, you do something else, you need to contribute to the organizations, not only nationally, but also the ones on the ground in states who are doing the work.
I can guarantee you will not see me sitting at home watching the BET Awards.
Okay.
I can guarantee you that. Folks, going to a break. We'll be right back. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Don't forget to support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing on average $50 each a year. That's $4.19 a month, 13 cents a day. What that does is raises $1 million to offset the cost to do this show, in addition to the other 5 shows on the Black Star Network. Those shows are A Balanced Life with Reverend Dr. Jackie Hood Martin. That streams every Tuesday on the network. Every Wednesday, we have, of course, The Other Side of Change with millennial hosts Bria Baker and Jamira Burley. Every Thursday, Second Opinion with Dr. Ebony J. Hilton, our weekly health show. Friday, The Black Table with Dr. Greg Carr, as well as Roland's Book Club. Folks, we're giving you a wide array of content. And in addition to those shows, also the special streams that we do. We streamed People Bryce's funeral the other day, other events, news conferences, things happening on Capitol Hill, protests, all of that stuff. I mean, understand, it almost cost us $200,000 a year for our Associated Press account. It costs more than $125,000 a year for the app. And so when we talk about building a Black digital news network, there are costs associated with it. We don't have the resources of these white mainstream media. We don't have millionaires and billionaires cutting us checks, and so your support is critically important. So if you have given, and it was last year, the year before, and you want to re-up, please do so. If you've never given before, and listen, if you can't give $50 a year, you get less, not a problem. We have people give us little as $1, people giving us as much as $30,000. All of that is about being able to support Black-owned media that's independent. We don't have to ask anybody else's permission when it comes to what we cover. We plan on hitting the road this summer and in the fall, going to battleground states, really driving our turnout, and so that takes resources. And so if you want to give via Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. You see it right here. If you're listening, go to blackstarnetwork.com. You can use that QR code also for credit cards, checks and money order. Make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 2003 7-0196. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back. All right, folks, let me tell you about Chapter. Now, if you're on Medicare or about to be, the system is not set up to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans, and too many people making money off of your confusion. And look, we're used to this. We're no strangers to systems that don't have our best interests at heart. But we don't have to accept it when it comes to Medicare. That's why I'm telling you about Chapter. Their advisors are independent and honest. In fact, they're the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. And they're focused on one thing: what works for you. If there's a better plan out there, they'll find it. If you're already in the right one, they'll tell you that too. There are no games. Just last year, people who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100. It's 20 minutes and a real person. It's completely free. My parents actually have already called. My mom sent me a text. Folks, give Chapter a call at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281, and connect with someone you can trust. Folks, these are the kind of services that we need for our audience here at Roland Martin Unfiltered and the Black Star Network. So call Chapter right now, 724-264-8281.
Farquhar, executive producer of Proud Family.
Bruce Smith, creator and executive producer of the Proud Family, Louder and Prouder. And you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Folks, another setback for Donald Trump's administration and his attacks on Black America and the right to vote. As a federal judge ruled that its proposed voter eligibility verification system, known as the SAVE, is unlawful. SAVE is a government program operated by U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services that was originally designed to help state and federal agencies verify foreign-born individuals for benefits. But at the urging of the White House, several states have been using the system to review their voter rolls, raising concerns about privacy and voter access. Critics have documented cases in which foreign-born Americans were mistakenly flagged as non-citizens. In a 75-page ruling, U.S. District Judge Sparkle Suknanan wrote, all in all, the federal government has knowingly trampled on the privacy rights of American citizens in a manner that threatens the sacred right to vote. This court cannot stand idly by while that happens. Joe, it's no surprise because all Donald Trump and his MAGAs have done is completely defy the law, ignore the law, and ignore the rights of Americans who they don't like.
Yeah, I mean, and this, quote, SAVE Act, was basically enhanced, shall we say, by Elon Musk and everyone else to basically go through a back door at purging voter rolls, and then you just say, oops, my bad, sorry. Again, you cannot ignore the fact that these guys' biggest line of defense is keeping people from voting. And the reason they do that is that they know that if everybody voted, they would lose. They're unpopular. Their policies are unpopular, and they are outnumbered, okay? It's prolonging the inevitable in terms of the state of them being outnumbered actually showing up in every election of consequence. And they're doing everything they can to turn back the hands of time and to bring us back to the 19th century. And so The other thing that I'll note, Roland, is that with these lower courts, we don't tend to have as many problems as we do with the Supreme Court. You got a whole lot of constitutional folks, both appointed by Republicans and Democrats, that know when what they smell is a rat. They know that something in the milk's not right. This is what they're doing with the SAVE Act. They're using this to try to purge the voter rolls. When it comes down to it, there's nothing legal about it. It's totally legal. And once again, it's to disenfranchise people that aren't going to vote the way that they do, or the way that they would want them to, particularly Black people. It is another attack on Black people. And I am glad this judge got it right.
Khalil?
Look, I watched, we all were watching, most of us were watching the Knicks play in the NBA Finals. And we, you know, whether it was Knicks in 4 or Knicks in 5, we were excited about the game. If those referees were trying hard to make sure it was a game 7 and missing fouls or calling fouls, we would be in an uproar. No one fights this hard to deny you access to something that is constitutionally provided for you if they weren't in fear of what you would do. So just imagine that setting in. Now, once you come to terms with that and you want to see an awesome game that's done in 4 or 5, why aren't you then taking advantage of all that you can to participate in this voting process? And so, like, I think it's critical that not only are you getting registered to vote, but you're doing 3 things. You're checking your voter registration status on a consistent basis. You can go to womenblackmen.org on our C4 side. You can check your voter registration status there. I know Roland and with Reverend Barber, there's a way that you can check your voter registration status or get registered to vote. But then once you've done, and it's now your responsibility to find 3 friends in your community and make sure they're also registered to vote. Then make a voting plan, whether you're going to vote early, you're going to vote by mail, you're going to do drop box, or you're going to go vote in person on election day. It's thinking about how you can weave this in. I love that me and my daughter just last week, we were able to vote together. She now knows all the people that are running because she hears all the TV ads in the house and hears me talk about it. But make it fun. This shouldn't be a task or a chore. This is a right that's bestowed upon us in America, and we need to exercise it. And so check your status, make sure you're registered, take 3 friends, and make a voting plan, and make sure you get out and vote.
Absolutely. Mustafa?
I mean, everything that Joe and Khalil just shared is so incredibly important. I mean, people got to understand that your vote is a flex. It's your opportunity to flex. It's your opportunity to say the things that I don't like that are going on in my community, I'm going to make sure that I have the ability to change that through the individuals who are asking for my vote. But you also got to understand that we've got the great purge. Joe just talked about purge, or the great erasure, because this is all intentional, right? The intentionality of it is that people understand that if they can erase individuals' ability to be able to participate in the civic process fully, then they can also mess with the money, because they understand that that is linked to your vote. The individuals who are sitting in office will make a decision around housing and education and the environment and a number of other things that we talk about. So we got to understand that the power that we have in relationship to voting, and why people are so focused, hyper-focused on being able to chip away at our ability to be able to fully utilize our vote. So as I often say, and my grandmother shared with me, you have power unless you give it away. There's power in our vote, and there's power also in the hands of others who are trying to take away that vote. So we have to make sure that we end up on the positive side of that equation, and not the folks who are trying to make sure that we no longer exist in a way that is human and in a way that is supposed to be American.
Indeed. Folks, let's go to Mississippi, where funeral services have been announced for Kohen Wiley, the 1-year-old boy shot and killed by cops earlier this month after police responded to a call about someone alleging shoplifting diapers from a Walmart. Kohen, his mother, and another woman were in a vehicle leaving the Walmart when police arrived. While officials have claimed the vehicle drove at officers, the family and witnesses have insisted it was driving away when an officer opened fire. The boy's family announced earlier today that his visitation will be held Friday, followed by funeral services on Saturday at 2 p.m. at the Hosanna Family Worship Center in Pope, Mississippi. The announcement comes just one day after the family and their attorney, Ben Crump, held a news conference in which they again called for all body camera, dashboard camera, and surveillance video to be released, and announced that they will commission an independent autopsy.
Now, before you hear from one of our community activists. We're going to have you hear from baby Cohen's mother, who is still, 1 week later, still having nightmares and having panic attacks over this tragedy. Obviously, nothing can compare to a mother losing their child, especially being shot while the baby is in her arms. So she is doing her best to try to keep it together through all the confusion and all of the mental anguish. So you all keep her in prayer, keep standing up and loving on her so she knows that she's not alone in trying to get to the truth and get to justice. Y'all stand to your feet and let's shout justice for baby Cohen so she knows she's not alone. Justice for baby Cohen! 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 Thank you. Felicia, we're going to stand here because I don't know if the stand is it okay if she stands here? Can y'all see her? Okay. Say what's on your heart.
Hey everyone, my name is Elie Wiley. I'm the mother of baby Kohen. I watched my baby take his first breath, and I watched my baby take his last breath. I'm still in disbelief about the traumatizing event that occurred that took my one and only child, baby Kohen. I ask that you keep my family in your prayers, and justice for baby Kohen.
Justice for baby Cohen! Justice for baby Cohen! Justice for baby Cohen! Justice for baby Cohen!
The thing here is that in that particular town, Khalil, folks there are not playing. They pretty much shut down the Walmart there, boycotting every single day until they get answers.
We in this case, and I don't know all the intricate details, but we're watching a baby's life was lost over, and I was looking it up, between $30 and $60. Now, obviously, the officers didn't know that going in, but let's do some due diligence and say, hey, you're here to protect and serve. And that's the individual, not just the property. And so why didn't we take the extra step of saying, let's figure out what's going on? You are behind a deadly weapon, and a mother and her child and family are leaving the scene of chaos to get safe. Why isn't then the thought process, how can I protect the community that I'm there and serving first? As opposed to, I am there to teach these people a lesson, which I believe was probably the case in this particular circumstance, as I've seen in some instances with some of these officers. And so my heart goes out as a parent. I know my daughter is right now about to spend some time with her cousins over the summer, over the week this summer. And I'm worried, as any parent would be, as you watch your child go off. I don't know how I would survive if I never saw her again. So my heart aches seeing that young mother having to carry this burden. But I am hopeful to see a community that is rallying around her. We need to show up, just like in South Carolina at the gas station and in other places. It's unfortunate that we have to do this, but it's what we need to do to let communities know you're not going to come in, open up a shop, set up shop in our communities, treat us with disrespect, and then continue to watch us spend our dollars there. So I'm empowered to see the community standing up and letting business know that if you want to be here, you're going to treat us with the respect that we deserve.
Absolutely. Joe.
As we've talked before, the civil rights movement was successful because it had an economic component. And often that's the beginning of the conversation, even as we ask for justice. If things are business as usual in that town as it pertains to the flow of economic prosperity, as it were, and allowing the Walmarts of the world and the places such as this to stay open and us to continue to conduct ourselves as if nothing happened to us. listen, it's already a risk being a police officer. I'm not saying that it's hard, it's easy, and I'm not saying that there aren't good people that are trying to do it. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say most are good people. But that being said, they would have to think through this situation before they actually pull the gun. A lot of times, people will pull a gun just because they can, if they believe they will be ultimately legally justified in doing so, to the point where it doesn't compromise their freedom. And really, paying out a lawsuit becomes the cost of doing business. But what can we do to actually change the conduct? Hopefully they're paying attention now, even if it's because of the economic reason. And then hopefully that can progress to a better discussion about what actually happened, justice and accountability related to it, and where we go forward.
Dafa.
I mean, we have to understand the psychology. In many places across this country, we are seen as sacrificable people. We are seen as individuals who our light can be extinguished even when it is a child. What is the mentality of an officer that shoots into a car? Now, you had the video coverage that was inside the store, so you would have been able to see if somebody, was shoplifting. Then you can also capture the plate of the car, and you can at another time go, and if there's reason for someone to be arrested, arrest them at that time. But because we are seen as sacrificable, people feel that they can take the ultimate set of actions in a moment, not realizing, or maybe realizing, that you literally could take someone's life. And we've seen that happen now with this young baby. So we've got to understand that there's so much work that has to happen across this country so that people begin to see us in a different way. That's one side of the equation. The other side of the equation is the economic aspect of saying that we are no longer going to fund our oppression. We are no longer going to allow you to just do anything, and we're going to continue to give us that we're going to give you our dollars. And of course, the third part is that we are going to make sure that we prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law when you take our life, whether it's through civil suits or through other types of suits.
Folks, in Ohio, video of a teen girl being arrested after a Juneteenth celebration has been sparking outrage. The community was angry after seeing a video shot by a bystander that shows a black 15-year-old girl being arrested by several Elie police officers, with one officer kneeling on her neck while the girl was being handcuffed. Now, police have released some of the footage from the officers' body cameras. It began at the Juneteenth festival after police bike patrol responded to a call about a group of teenagers arguing with several adults. An event organizer has said that he does not believe the teens were part of the Juneteenth event, but rather had shown up after the festival. The video shows officers talking with the individuals as tensions escalate. Soon you'll see officers take the teen girl to the ground to detain her. Police have said 2 minors and 2 adults were charged in connection with the incident. An attorney for one of the arrested adults said that his client had attempted to intervene because he believed the officers' actions were excessive. On Monday, Police Chief James Welsh said he was personally reviewing the case and issued the following statement. The Elie Police Department is aware of the public interest in the video circulating on social media regarding arrests made by officers in Eli Square, 410 Broad Street on Saturday, June 20, 2026. As Chief of Police, I understand that any incident involving the use of force by police officers raises important questions within our community. The Elie Police Department is committed to transparency, accountability, and maintaining the public's trust. The arrests made during this incident were based upon information available to officers at the scene and remain under review through the criminal justice process. Additionally, as with any use of force by our personnel, the actions of our officers will be thoroughly reviewed in accordance with department policy and established procedures. I have personally begun reviewing the available information, including body-worn camera footage, reports, and other evidence related to this incident. While it would be inappropriate to draw conclusions before that review is complete, I can assure the community that we hold our officers to the highest professional standards and will carefully examine all aspects of these events. The videos currently circulating online capture only portions of the incident. Body-worn camera footage and other evidence often provide additional context that's not immediately visible in short video clips. The department intends to release additional information, including body-worn camera footage, when legally and procedurally appropriate to do so. We ask the public to allow investigators the opportunity to complete a thorough review before reaching conclusions. Our commitment is to provide accurate information, maintain transparency, and ensure accountability while respecting the integrity of the investigative process. At this time, it is my understanding that no serious injuries were reported as a result of this incident. Let's roll the tape.
Hook her. Yes, hook her. Stop her. Stop. Stop resisting. You're under arrest. Stop resisting. Back up. Back up. You're under arrest. Stop resisting. You're under arrest. What is this thing at the square? Give us your hands. Your head. Get out there. I'm just saying, get up. Back up. What? You're under arrest. You're under arrest. Do not grab me. You're under arrest. Don't grab me like that, bro. You're under arrest. Let go. Don't grab me like that. You're under arrest. You lost your mind. Hey, get him. Get the fuck. Taser.
All right, folks, again, that was the body cam footage that was actually released. You also had a bystander video that was circulating on social media. Go ahead and roll it. You had this bystander video that was going on social media. And so again, so that was happening there. Now, keep in mind, again, once you begin to see that body cam footage that went out. This was first. This is what was going across on social media. Then the release of the body cam footage, and that's when the police chief released an update to say the officer was had been placed on paid leave. Again, we see these things happen over and over and over again, Mustafa, Khalil, and Joe. Bottom line is what it speaks to. It speaks to the reality of how police go into situations. They don't de-escalate situations. And then you see the cop kneeling on the back of this teenage girl.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been George Floyd all over again. And maybe, we are fortunate that there was enough of a stir while what was going on, that perhaps, who knows, it may have ended up saving her life. But the problem that we have, fundamentally, we keep coming back to this, is that you cannot make withdrawals of goodwill in the community unless you have deposits. And what they just did was they undermined any deposits they may have had. So again, now you have distrust. Now you have people that don't want to talk to the police, that don't want to connect to the police, don't want to be truthful to the police. The police are seen as an enemy. Whether it's fair or not, it's real, okay? And it did not have to go this way. Police have to know how to de-escalate. You're protecting and serving even the people you're arresting. There's no exception for unless you arrest them. Police are not in business and wearing them uniforms with them guns and them badges to deal with nice people. Okay? So, we gotta, you miss me with all this extra sympathy for police, because they actually have to be police and they have to go above and beyond and they have to make good decisions and they have to have some discretion and some discernment and some nuance to be able to deal with situations that keeps everyone safe and that gives deposits that can be withdrawn later. I'll be doggone if they actually have to do their job in a way that saves lives and that preserves people and that engenders trust. That's what we have. If you don't want to do that, then maybe you shouldn't be a police officer.
It's unfortunate, Mustafa, that we have to continue to see these things. And then you saw the man who was trying to sit here and calm things down. The cops end up arresting him. He's like, yo, man, what are you doing?
But black men are supposed to show up for black women and girls. We should never allow a situation that we don't, engage, whether it is in a forceful conversation or other types of actions, because how do you look yourself in the mirror the next day? How do you look in your daughter's eyes or your mother's eyes, knowing that you could have at least, done something in that moment? That's one part. The other part is Chief Welsh, I believe was his name. He was incorrect in saying that there was no damage that was inflicted, because there is a mental health damage that this young lady, now the trauma of going through this situation. So we need to be very clear. Just because you may not have a scar, a physical scar, that does not mean that there is not a mental scar that will follow her. And then tying it into what Joe said, there is also a mental scar that happens inside of the community, because once again, we can no longer trust people who are supposed to be protecting and serving. So we've got that dynamic that's going as well. The third part and last thing that I'll say is that there's, when the chief was saying that there's going to be this formal investigation and that folks should just be patient until those results come out, we have no problem with a formal investigation, but that does not mean that we should not continue to keep a spotlight on what's going on and to make sure that there's pressure, because at a minimal, there is something inside of that particular police force that needs to be addressed, and how they handle these situations. So yes, we'll wait and see what the results are, but we should continue to speak out. We should continue to put a spotlight on it and then tie it to what is going on across the country in relationship to police actions and police brutality and how those need to be addressed.
Khalil.
I appreciate that you went to Joe and Mustafa first, because the anger and the frustration was welling up in me as we were watching that video clip. I like to talk about my 9-year-old daughter and CEO who runs my life and is my pride and joy. What I saw in that video, and I know I probably can't curse, and I'm going to try to contain my rage, but was that they didn't see a young girl, they didn't see their daughter, they didn't see a child, they didn't see someone that they were there to serve and take care of. So I appreciate Joe, and I felt his rage at the end of his remarks, and I appreciate Mustafa as well. But bump that, man. This is ridiculous. Like, time and time again, we see black children just trying to be children. Not black, not white, just children. Just growing up, existing, living, waking up every day and just breathing. And to the fact that they can't do that with the freedom that is given to so many others that don't look like them is frustrating in so many other ways. But what I saw in the officers, as before they took her to the ground, the way they were grasping the back of her neck, the way that they were holding her arms, and then the cop, when he put his knee on her neck, which is a tactic that was learned by other countries who are also funding through their PAC some of the candidates who are running for office tonight. So I may not be as eloquent in my words as Mustafa and Joe, but as a parent, as a black girl dad, as a father, I am enraged to see by both of these that the loss of seeing a human being, seeing a child that is not a threat, that all they want to do is live, is lost on, in both cases of these officers, that they just did not care. They didn't see their children. And then they went home and they kissed their children to bed. And I'm assuming that it was very little to them what it meant and the loss of the lives and the trauma that it was caused.
Absolutely. Folks, going to a break. We'll be back. Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the Black Star Network. All right, folks, let me tell you about Chapter. Now, if you're on Medicare or about to be, the system is not set up to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans, and too many people making money off of your confusion. And look, we're used to this. We're no strangers to systems that don't have our best interests at heart. But we don't have to accept it when it comes to Medicare. That's why I'm telling you about Chapter. Their advisors are independent and honest. In fact, they're the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. And they're focused on one thing: what works for you. If there's a better plan out there, they'll find it. If you're already in the right one, they'll tell you that too. There are no games. Just last year, people who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100. It's 20 minutes and a real person. It's completely free. My parents actually have already called. My mom sent me a text. Folks, give Chapter a call at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281, and connect with someone you can trust. Folks, these are the kind of services that we need for our audience here at Roland Martin Unfiltered and the Black Star Network. So call Chapter right now, 724-264-8281.
Hi, I am Tommy Davidson. I play Oscar on Proud Family, Louder and Prouder. I don't play Sammy, but I could. Or I don't play Obama, but I could. I don't do Stallone, but I could do all that. And I am here with Roland Martin on Unfiltered.
Folks, there's a massive housing crisis in this country, and Congress is now finally trying to do something about it. The Senate passed on Monday bipartisan bill that will, they say, lower housing costs. It's called the 21st Century Road to Housing Act. It's aimed to make it easier for homeowners, first of all, to construct new homes by providing funding and grant programs to cut through government red tape. One section of the bill, called Homes Are for People, Not Corporations, restricts large Wall Street institutional investors from bidding against families to buy single-family homes. Republicans are touting the bill as a huge victory in an effort to calm voter frustrations ahead of the midterm elections in November. The bill, negotiated by Republican Senator Tim Scott and Democrat Elizabeth Warren, now heads to the House for a vote later this week, where Congresswoman Maxine Waters is among those championing its version of the bill. Joining us now is the president of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, Ashley Thomas III. Ashley, glad to have you here. We have covered this story, this housing crisis, for a long time. Housing has been one of the areas that I have always focused on in my career. In fact, I often talk about this particular graphic right here, that to understand where we are now in this economy, is the problem is that when we look at the period of 2010 to 2009, folks at home, you see it right here, this graphic, 6.9 million. That's when we had of course, in 2008, 2009, we had the home foreclosure crisis. So we built 8 million fewer homes. The next decade, from what took place, 2000 to 2009. 2009, 14.56 million homes. You see it drops to 6.9 in the next decade. That was because of the home foreclosure crisis. Again, 2007, 2008, 2009. And so then we have, so in 2010, 2019, and then 2020 to present day, we haven't caught up. Now, if anybody looking at that number, 6.9 million, the last time we built that few homes was 1940 to 1949. And Ashley, what happened after that? A federal housing law was passed to spur home construction.
Correct. If we go back and look at 1934, that's when we started talking about FHA. For the first 35 years, we were not a part of it. So this bill, although we support it, we stand behind it. We think supply is definitely going to come to the marketplace at some point and be able to ease home prices. However, this is about access for the Black community. We need access. We are 14% of the population. We only receive 8% of the mortgages. So supply is not an issue when we're talking specifically about our community.
In looking at this, obviously providing assistance to those building homes, but let's speak to this, the targeting of blocking these investors, these corporate investors, using algorithms and being able to offer cash deals even before homes even go on the market. Do you believe that if the House passes the bill and then it gets signed into law, that is actually going to quell that from happening? Because some estimates that Wall Street could be owning upwards of 40% of all single-family homes by the end of this decade.
Yeah, the unfortunate part is this is a decade too late, right? But we have to start from somewhere. I think if you go back and look at the housing prices 10 years ago, we will probably have doubled since then, and in some markets tripled. The city of Atlanta, for example, Over half of the properties were bought by investors. So this is definitely something that we need. Investors are going to look at properties that have the highest upside. Where is that at? Black communities. And so this is something that we've been fighting for 10 years. We're glad it's here. Little late, but moving forward, it should be able to help us out a lot.
Questions from the panel. Mustafa, you first.
Yeah, well, brother, it's good to see you. Thank you for everything that you do. A part of this conversation is also the fact that housing prices are consistently outpacing the amount of money that folks, are able to bring home. How do we balance that out to make sure that we can meet the needs that are out there?
And I think that's a great point, because what the bill doesn't tackle is debt. So it doesn't tackle student loans. It doesn't tackle inequities in income. It doesn't tackle all of the barriers that surround access for us and generational wealth building. So I think, this will bring supply. I think there's a phase 2 that we definitely have to stay tied to and make sure that, we can start tackling those other issues. But right now, this bill is strictly about supply. It has the investor, which we really like. It does have some components in there about appraisal in terms of consumers being able to dispute an appraisal bias situation. So we're excited about that as well. But, overall, this is a great starting point. I do believe that the bar is very low. And so it's up to us to raise the bar.
Joe.
Thank you very much, sir, for what you're speculating a little bit. I wonder if you have some thoughts, because there's a little bit of surprise, right, that this got passed with so much bipartisan support. Any speculation on why, other than acknowledging that we have quite a problem and it's a big problem? And more to the point, are there some things that we can pull out of the fact that this got done? Are there some particular tendencies or particular bells that we can ring the right way to engage the same people? Because we might not have the Senate and the House next year. We'd love to, but we might not. So what's going to keep us moving forward? Or something we can take out of this? We're just talking out loud. It's just us talking, us folks. Is there something that we can take out of this that strikes the right chord with people on both sides of the aisle, so that those additional things that need to happen to be more comprehensive and be more all-encompassing about tackling this problem in every area can occur?
So I think this is very unique because housing, homeownership, that's not a partisan issue, right? That's an American issue. We believe in the American dream in terms of home ownership. So I really think that this is probably one of the few topics that would come out of Congress, that would come out of Washington as we move forward. So, I think it's just something that voters, this is probably the right time. You have elections that have been going on. We obviously have November coming up, and everyone has been impacted by the housing shortage. So even if you are in an affluent community, the conversation there is affordability. Even in first-time home buyers, it's affordability. So I think it's just reaching every corner of America, and the timing is just right.
To that point, it passed 85-5, and you had lawmakers who it's difficult for them to get in because of the bad weather that happened in D.C. on Monday. Khalil.
Brother, I'm curious. The average age that I'm tracking here is between your late 30s and 40s right now when you're able to purchase a home. I know for me, I am fearful, not because I don't think I can take care of it, but what if something were to happen? It's just me and my daughter. And so what are you seeing for people in our community that may have that latent fear of owning a home, where stepping on that next path for them because of the turbulent times? How are you then guiding them through this uncertainty to make sure that they can still see home ownership as an option, as a pathway to sustainable middle class for themselves?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I think when we start looking at home ownership, I'm very pleased because there's been studies that stated the millennials and other generations are very much wanting to own a home. So that's positive. Now we have to look at home prices, right? We talked to previous generations that bought homes in the 70s. They said, you know what, my interest rate was 13%. Well, you bought a $70,000 home or $45,000 home. Today, those homes are averaging $600,000, $800,000, depending on where you are. And so we have to continue as practitioners in the business to do a great job on finding new products, accessibility, how people can better afford a product, afford a mortgage. And so that's really what we're focusing on, is what is the next step for that. But, I think Obviously, home ownership is probably still one of the greatest wealth builders, generational wealth builders in families. And so we're going to continue to push that forward.
All right.
Thank you.
If folks want to get more information to reach y'all for assistance, where do they go?
So, and let me just add this one point. I think as we talked about the struggles with home ownership, we also have to talk about some of the struggles that Black brokers have been facing. A lot of times you'll do business with people that look like you. So we definitely want to encourage everybody to go to NARAB.com. At the very top of our page, you'll be able to find a realtist and, and support our Black brokers across this country. So go to NAREB, NAREB.com. I appreciate you, Roland.
Okay. I appreciate it, Ashley. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Folks, time for Black Star Network headlines with Brittany Noble.
Well, a mother in California is suing a school district after alleging her 2 young sons endured months of relentless racial harassment from classmates and that school officials failed to protect them. The lawsuit claims that in 2024, the boys, who are 7 and 10 years old, and were both students at Mariposa Elementary School in Redlands, were repeatedly targeted with racist insults, including being called mud, tarball, and even told that their skin was the color of dog food. One child was even handed a note that allegedly read, "Your skin is as black as your future." The family says the harassment escalated after students were introduced to the racially offensive Black Pete character in class. Performers traditionally depict Black Pete as the Dutch version of Santa Claus by painting their faces black and donning an afro wig and big red lips. Well, the mother, Daphne Hawkins, says that the school district officials failed to protect her sons from months of severe racial harassment despite repeated complaints. And former Kentucky Governor Matt Bevin was a no-show in court again for a hearing related to an ongoing legal battle involving his adopted Black son, Jonah. And his judge, Angela Johnson, was visibly fed up. Bevin's son, Jonah, is seeking child support from Bevin and his estranged wife, Glenna, claiming that he was abused and abandoned at a violent youth facility in Jamaica. He was 17 at that time. Matt Bevin had been held in contempt of court, and a judge recently issued a warrant for his arrest for failing to appear and not producing required financial statements. On Monday, a judge denied his attorney's request for more time to gather the documents. She said this is standard protocol in child support cases and said Bevin is dragging his feet. Judge Johnson said this case has been going on for more than a year, and they keep hitting the same roadblock when Bevin's financial documents. And she said the court receives half turnover information or completely redacted reports. Bevin's lawyer said he believes that the situation unfairly targets the former governor. In addition to being ordered to serve 60 days in jail, Bevin must also pay a $500 fine. And former Dalton, Illinois Mayor Tiffany Henyard has secured a major legal win against her former landlord after a judge ruled in her favor in a dispute over a rental property. Well, the landlord claims that Henyard and Kamal Woods owe nearly $10,000 in unpaid rent and other costs. A judge ruled on Monday that Henyard's name was not properly signed on the lease and that Henyard's social security number was willfully exposed by the landlord in documents. As a result, Henyard is entitled to $1,000 from the landlord to offset the costs of an ID protection service, in addition to $500 in attorney fees. Now, Woods, however, is still on the hook for much of the unpaid rent, with the judge ruling that he still owes the landlord more than $7,000. A Texas woman who lost her job after a viral video showed her confronting 2 Muslim women in an H-E-B grocery store is gaining overwhelming support online. Daisha Kilpatrick was fired from her position as a massage therapist after footage of her hurling racially charged insults at the 2 women spread across social media. In the video recorded June 19th, she is seen in her work uniform making comments to the woman, one who was wearing a hijab, about their faith and presence in the United States, sparking widespread backlash. Kilpatrick could be heard calling Islam a terrorist organization and repeatedly telling them to go back to their Islamic country. But while many condemned her actions, others have rallied behind her. A fundraiser has been launched following her termination and has raised more than $163,000, with supporters arguing she is being punished for expressing her views. The growing donation total has fueled heated debates online, with critics questioning why her anti-Muslim remarks is being financially rewarded. Also, movie mogul Tyler Perry, male assault accuser Mario Rodriguez has filed new claims accusing him of avoiding a mandatory deposition, which may ask questions about his personal sexuality. Rodriguez, who filed the lawsuit in December of 2025, accuses Perry of unwanted sexual advances and assaults. Well, Perry denied these charges, as well as being labeled that the suit is a money grab. Rodriguez reportedly is asking the judge to issue a no-compromise deposition for the filmmaker, compelling him to attend a deposition, claiming Perry failed to appear for multiple scheduled dates since April. According to Rodriguez, Perry has demanded that both sides sign a legally binding document that shields Perry from any questions regarding his sexual orientation. Perry has accused the defendant's questioning of him of being unnecessary. However, Rodriguez and his team insist that Perry's sexuality is critical to the $77 million civil lawsuit. Rodriguez had a small role in Perry's 2016 film called Boo, a Madea Halloween. And a federal judge has blocked a Trump administration-backed effort tied to the Make America Healthy Again agenda that would have stopped SNAP recipients in multiple states from using food benefits to buy items such as candy, soda, and sugary drinks. U.S. District Judge Amy Berman Jackson ruled that the executive branch does not have the authority to redefine which counts as food under the SNAP benefits program. Only Congress does. The ruling affects restrictions that had been approved in 23 different states that had been prompted as part of the Trump administration's Make America Healthy Again push, which argued that taxpayer-funded food assistance should encourage healthier eating and reduce purchases of sugary or low-nutrition products. SNAP recipients who challenged the new rule argued bans would create confusion at stores, stigmatize low-income shoppers, and make it harder for families to use their benefits.
All right, Brittany, thanks a bunch. Be sure to watch the Breakdown Brittany Noble every day, noon Eastern, right here on the Black Star Network. Every day, noon Eastern on the Black Star Network. Folks, going to a break. We come back. Crazy-ass racist white people. Can a black man just fish in peace in Florida? Not when the Ken and Karen show up. We'll show you next right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Support the work that we do. Join our Brina Funk fan club. You want to contribute via Cash App right now, use the Stripe QR code. You see it right here. Click that for all. You can also use that for credit cards. Checks and money order. Make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037 0196. PayPal's R Martin Unfiltered, Venmo RM Unfiltered, Zelle Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back. So let me tell you about Chapter. Now, if you're on Medicare or about to be, the system is not set up to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans, and too many people making money off of your confusion. And look, we're used to this. We're no strangers to systems that don't have our best interests at heart. But we don't have to accept it when it comes to Medicare. That's why I'm telling you about Chapter. Their advisors are independent and honest. In fact, they're the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. And they're focused on one thing: what works for you. If there's a better plan out there, they'll find it. If you're already in the right one, they'll tell you that too. There are no games. Just last year, people who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100. It's 20 minutes and a real person. It's completely free. My parents actually have already called. My mom sent me a text. Folks, give Chapter a call at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281, and connect with someone you can trust. Folks, these are the kind of services that we need for our audience here at Roland Martin Unfiltered and the Black Star Network. So call Chapter right now, 724-264-8281.
Hello, I'm Jamia Pugh. I am from Coatesville, Pennsylvania, just an hour right outside of Philadelphia.
My name is Jasmine Pugh. I'm also from Coatesville, Pennsylvania.
You are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. Stay right here.
Hey, y'all, we do our best just be black folks, and we just want to mind our own business. We just want to be able to just live. Well, a black man in Florida, Jensen Beach. Brother's just trying to fish. All right. Then here he is trying to do just fish. And a racist white man comes up with his racist Becky at Jensen Beach, Florida, and just start accosting the brother. He posted this to his social media. This took place over the weekend. And again, the man and his family were just trying to fish. Watch this.
You just came from right there, right? You just walked over here, and you just decided you wanted to come give me a fucking problem today, right?
No, I was talking to the two of you. If you're not together,
but
then
did you? But it doesn't matter. But why did you come over here? Did you not see that guy over there, up in that post right there, tell us to come over here? No. Did you not see him come over to us and tell us this is where we had to be? Did you see the guy come out of that booth right there?
Are you gonna let me talk?
Because I don't fucking know you, and I don't know why you came up to me like that.
He told you you couldn't be right there. But common sense, basic humanity is you don't go, even though you're allowed to, right where there's.
If I'm allowed to, I'm allowed to. The kids gonna run wherever they want to run. If I'm allowed to do something, I'm allowed to do something. Don't come over here trying to police people. If that's where he told me I need to be, if this is where he told me I need to be, that's where I'm at. And then you decided that you were going to police even more and come over here and say, you know what, I don't like where you're at. I want you to move, right?
Yeah, I think this is a poor choice for you.
This is a poor choice for you, buddy.
No, because he didn't tell you.
You ain't got no clue.
He didn't tell you.
You ain't got no clue how bad of a choice it is. He didn't tell me I had to come right here. You want to walk with me over here, right here to this post right here? You want to walk with me over there right now?
He didn't say there.
You want me to walk over there with that post right now?
I just talked to him.
Do you want to go over there?
He did not
Come on, let's
say.
go. Come on, let's go.
Yeah,
you just talked to him? Come on, let's go. Go get him. Go get him.
No, you said you wanted to go. So let's go.
Oh, where I need to be.
Let's walk over there. Oh, I don't want to walk over there with you.
I want you to go walk over there.
I already did.
I want you to walk over here. He told us where to be.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't have sent you over here. Where's your badge?
He said,
who are you? Where's your badge?
I'm fire department as well.
Where's your badge? You got no fucking pockets. You're talking about you're the fire department.
Yes.
This is the fucking beach. This is not a fire.
That's right. So what he said.
So
lifeguards
if he wanted you to come over here and tell me, so you did it on your own. You just bothering me for no fucking reason, right? Because you ain't got nothing else to do today.
No, because I don't want people to get hurt here.
Guess what? If this is where somebody told us fishing is allowed, then maybe they shouldn't be here. Maybe you should talk to the little kids that's running back and forth. Are you doing that?
Yeah, that makes common sense.
That makes a lot of sense, don't it? Because the guy told us where we were allowed to fish.
Yes.
Did you not see that?
Out of that area, which that means you could go down another 5 miles.
I can stay right the fuck here if I want to.
I know you can.
So why don't you go about your business? Why don't you go about your business, bro?
Lack of IQ.
Why don't you go about your business?
I know what I'm dealing with here.
Go about your business. Do whatever it is you were doing before you came over to me. Go about your business. Go about your. What'd you say? What'd you say?
You heard me.
I didn't hear you. You said what?
No, hey.
Say it again.
No, you.
What'd you say? Niggers? You said niggers?
Are going to be niggers.
Niggers are going to be niggers? Niggers are going to be niggers?
Absolutely.
Niggers are going to be niggers.
100%. You back up right now.
100%. Niggers are going to be niggers. 100%. That's what you said, right?
Absolutely.
On camera.
100%.
I got you.
You got me.
Yeah.
I got you. I got you. I got you.
100%.
I got you.
The brothers told where to fish. And racist Ken and Becky, they don't like it. So they accost the brother. I mean, this is what we talk about all the time, Mustafa, that the stress that black people have to deal with, we can't even just go. We're going to the beach to chill. I don't even like fishing, but my brother's just going to relax and fish, and damn, now they're stressed. Now it's all heightened because 2 flat-out racists rolled over there.
You know, there's a term for that. It's called weathering in relationship to the stressors that the black community has to deal with. So let's just be clear that, you know, when we raise these things, there is scientific evidence that's behind them. The other part you got to remember is throughout the South, and I hate just saying the South, so this is not the only location, but there were literally laws in place not that long ago that blocked us from beaches, blocked us from waterways, blocked us from being able to fish in lakes and rivers and streams. I know it sounds incredible that could possibly be happening, but those were laws that were literally on the books that people used to be able to stop us from being able to take advantage of nature and take advantage of all these natural things that are supposed to be less stressful, an opportunity to reconnect with nature and maybe reconnect with God for some people. So when you have these individuals who are expressing their privilege, you know, it is rooted in something. So I don't want folks to think that there's no roots to this. Now, the question becomes, how do we rip those roots out of the ground so that the next sets of generations don't have to deal with these types of situations?
Joe?
You know, they were lucky that this brother had a calm head, because that could have come out way differently, because they weren't particularly physically imposing. They were on the old side, on the decrepit side, on the sagging side, with all due respect. And something could have happened, which I wouldn't necessarily tell the brother was justified at, but I would understand, okay? And so this is what we have to deal with all the time. This brother's just out trying to go fishing. And for them, those particular people, no badges. The guy said he was part of the fire department. I guess he was wearing the fire department Speedo. Somebody need to tell him that he don't need to be wearing the fire department Speedo at his age. Somehow, some way, they were so sure they were entitled enough to tell this brother he shouldn't be standing where he was standing. They're lucky he didn't react a different way. And this is why we're talking about what we're talking about. It would never occur to me to go and tell somebody else they shouldn't be standing where they're standing if there's no threat to my safety whatsoever. They just decided they'd go out of the way and make things right with the world by telling this brother, after he'd been told by apparently the people that are supposed to know where he's supposed to be standing off fishing. They are lucky they didn't get hurt.
Khalil?
Oftentimes we're asked, what is the definition of white privilege? We are asked to, brothers and sisters on the other side, or those that are not ours and not in solidarity, well, I don't understand what it means. You have a beach. Like, the background is way long. You can see the horizon almost, that it curves around that arc. You got all that land. And in this one section, as you said, this brother just want to come, relax his shoulders, fish is his thing just to do. But your privilege entitles you enough that you're going to walk up to him, and you're not in uniform, you're not representing the fire department in that moment, but you're going to tell him, no, I don't want you to be there. I think he even said he could go 5 miles down. The audacity of their privilege is that I don't even want you around me where I can see you. I want to own a public beach and have it be my own little private area where we don't have to interact with you. And so I know you didn't do this on purpose, but the rage from every clip is boiling over. And these are the microaggressions that we try to tell our friends and others who are not Black in the movement that are so frustrating to live with every single day. I can imagine, like all of you, there is a tightness in my chest right now. I'm still thinking about the young girl that got taken down to the ground. The baby, the 1-year-old whose life is no longer with us, who was shot in a car by a police officer. And the trauma that this does, and I'm sure Mustafa can speak about it because I've heard him talk about it more, to us, not only in a mental way, but in a physical way that gets manifested over time, is draining. And so, I mean, I know I'm not being as eloquent as I can, but I'm beyond frustrated that we just can't live. That's all we want to do is live.
All we want to do is live, and they just won't leave us the hell alone. I don't understand what the problem is. And so it just continues. And so there are some other videos like that, and we'll have another one tomorrow. But I'm telling you, and these are just crazy-ass racist white people. Black man was trying to just fish, just trying to soak up the ocean and the waves and relax, and you got to show your ass. And trust me, their identities will be probably coming alive in the next day or two. So we'll tell you exactly who they are once they are revealed. Going to a break. We'll be right back. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Tell you about Chapter. Now, if you're on Medicare or about to be, the system is not set up to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans, and too many people making money off of your confusion. And look, we're used to this. We're no strangers to systems that don't have our best interests at heart. But we don't have to accept it when it comes to Medicare. That's why I'm telling you about Chapter. Their advisors are independent and honest. In fact, they're the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. And they're focused on one thing: what works for you. If there's a better plan out there, they'll find it. If you're already in the right one, they'll tell you that too. There are no games. Just last year, people who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100. It's 20 minutes and a real person. It's completely free. My parents actually have already called. My mom sent me a text. Folks, give Chapter a call at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281, and connect with someone you can trust. Folks, these are the kind of services that we need for our audience here at Roland Martin Unfiltered and the Black Star Network. So call Chapter right now, 724-264-8281.
I'm Russell L. Honoré, Lieutenant General, United States Army retired, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, folks, listen, the Republicans continue to be hammered on the economy. They control the House, they control the Senate, they control the White House. Donald Trump's approval ratings continue to fall through the floor. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries is pressing the case, continuously making it clear that affordability is going to be the issue Democrats will be running on in November. Here is today's event he held at Capitol Hill.
Everyone. Donald Trump and Republicans have plunged America into a reckless and costly war of choice that has been a disaster. House Democrats have opposed this war from the very beginning because we believe that taxpayer dollars should be used to make life more affordable for the American people, not get us involved in another reckless, endless, foreign adventure that actually has made our country weaker relative to Iran than the position that we were in before Donald Trump started this war. And Iran, unfortunately, is now stronger. And the American people have been forced to pay the price, including as a result of the higher gas prices and higher food prices that can be directly attributed to the Trump Republican reckless war of choice in Iran. We're thankful that earlier today, led by Senate Democrats, the Senate passed our War Powers Resolution, demanding that Trump and Republicans end this reckless and costly war of choice in Iran once and for all. And the bottom line is that we shouldn't spend another dime of taxpayer dollars on Operation Epic Failure that has been a disaster for the national security and the economic interests of the American people. Questions?
In two swing seats, the 2nd District in Maine, the 22nd in California, the DCCC endorsed the Democratic candidate who did not advance the general. Is this making you reevaluate how the DCCC plays in contested primaries at all?
No, I have full faith and confidence in the DCCC. Susan DelBene has done a tremendous job, and we're going to take back control of the House of Representatives in November.
All right, folks, so you heard Jeffries there talking about the war in Iran. We've already spent upwards of $30 billion. Now they are going to Congress saying they need another $80 billion. But the Senate also took action where they actually voted to rein in Donald Trump's powers when it comes to the war in Iran. This is a piece, give me 1 second, from the New York Times. The headline is Senate votes to check Trump's war powers, rebuking him on Iran. And a few Republicans actually joined Democrats in this. The measure instructs Trump to halt military operations against Iran or seek congressional authorization. Now, the vote was 50 to 48, and you had several Republicans, as the article lays out, who actually joined Democrats. And so you'll see here, it was Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania. He was the lone Democrat to vote against this resolution. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski, Maine Senator Susan Collins, and Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy all broke with Republicans supporting the measure. You had a couple of folks who were absent, including Mitch McConnell, who has been hospitalized. But right here, first, and what you see right here, Khalil, when you look at the numbers here, who voted with it. So Cassidy lost his primary, so he doesn't owe Trump a damn thing. Susan Collins is actually in a tough re-election battle, and so we see how she voted. And Murkowski has increasingly opposed different things with Trump, and of course Rand Paul as well. And, you know, this is one of those where, hell, if you were Tom Tillis and John Cornyn, you should have told Trump, go to hell. Now, the question, what happens next? Because, you know, what's the power? The House has to move as well. But this is significant where these Republicans are realizing that this war in Iran is going to be a potent issue at the ballot box, because it's a lot of conservatives who believe Trump when he said no new wars, Khalil.
Well, not only this, what you're seeing is that the emperor has no clothes. Time and time again in the second year, Republicans are saying this is a bridge too far. When they wanted to erode what they believe to be food stamps and subsidies for average everyday Americans, and they wanted to chip away at that. The prejudice and the privilege of white America was like, oh, we're going to do that. That's going to affect black and brown communities. Oh, but wait, now all your constituents are starting to call you in these Rust Belt, these middle American states saying, whoa, I need my subsidies as a constituent. And so they forgot that it's not just all black and brown people that were on these. And I think what we're seeing is we can continuously find $15 billion to repair the reflecting pool, $300 billion to give to Iran, which pales in comparison to the JCPOA and what Obama had come up with under his administration in holding Iran accountable. And now we can't figure out how average everyday Americans are going to afford gas, which gas prices were killing us and they still are. They're just starting to come down. But each week it's been, oh, we got a deal. Oh, we got a memorandum of understanding. Oh, we have this. I think Republicans are starting to realize we don't have to continue to go along with this hook, line, and sinker, because we know that our constituents back home, we're seeing it in primaries right now. Democrats are showing up and Republicans are like, hey, I don't know if I can get behind you. Again, register, check your voter registration, get 3 friends to do the same, make a plan, make it fun, go vote.
The thing here, Mustafa, because they even know he's lying. This is another New York Times piece. Trump is making big claims about the Iran talks. Iran keeps contradicting him. He's a liar. He's lying. He's lied repeatedly. War's over. No, it's not. Strait of Hormuz is open. No, it's not. We got a deal. No, we don't. I mean, it's just, he's a liar.
But we all know that the facts, that are laid out definitely confirm that. But here's the deeper thing. He now has a lifeline, right? So he should grab hold of this lifeline because, he's stuck in a situation that we should never have found ourselves in. We should have never went into this war, especially with Americans struggling and all the things that Khalil laid out and so many other folks. So he now has an opportunity to actually get out of the quagmire that is there and be able to hopefully help folks to heal and then be able to move forward. But they'll probably find a way to mess this up because, they never should have been there. Of course, you should always go to Congress to get approval before you go into some type of a war-like situation. But of course, they don't follow the rules. They feel that they don't have to. Everybody else should, but not them. So now we find ourselves in this moment. So yes, he is a very untruthful person. Yes, folks have to continually call out all the untruthfulness that goes on. But if he doesn't grab hold of this, then he's going to find himself, falling even further in the polls. He's going to continue to damage his party. And hopefully there'll be a good course correction in November if they do continue to hold on to these sort of antiquated ways of thinking about how you engage with folks across our country.
Joe?
You don't need another $80, $90 billion if the war is getting ready to end. This is, it's easy to kind of see through what's going on here. They talked about regime change. Didn't happen. The son took over, and the son is more hardcore than daddy was. They talked about the strait being open and everybody being able to get through safely with no problems and no issues. That's not happening. They talked about destroying Iran's nuclear capability. Hasn't happened, and their nuclear capability is not deterred in any demonstrably significant way that would have justified what it is that went on here. So this is a failure by any measure, and we're paying for it on the top. It ain't like it was free. We just took a spin and we're like, oh, we're okay. No, this is all messed up. And what I hope is that people remember it. Remember what this did to prices. Remember how this connects to Trump's failure to deliver on his larger promises, keeping us out of war and getting prices down. He did neither. He did exactly the opposite. And so hopefully people just don't forget it.
The man is a flat-out liar. And to all you Republicans, we tried to tell you. Going to break. We'll be right back. Shop BlackStarNetwork.com. Marketplace segment. Back in a moment. Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches. I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland. Hey, Black, I love y'all. All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
All right, folks, let me tell you about Chapter. Now, if you're on Medicare or about to be, the system is not set up to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans, and too many people making money off of your confusion. And look, we're used to this. We're no strangers to systems that don't have our best interests at heart. But we don't have to accept it when it comes to Medicare. That's why I'm telling you about Chapter. Their advisors are independent and honest. In fact, they're the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. And they're focused on one thing: what works for you. If there's a better plan out there, they'll find it. If you're already in the right one, they'll tell you that too. There are no games. Just last year, people who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100. It's 20 minutes and a real person. It's completely free. My parents actually have already called. My mom sent me a text. Folks, give Chapter a call at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281, and connect with someone you can trust. Folks, these are the kind of services that we need for our audience here at Roland Martin Unfiltered and the Black Star Network. So call Chapter right now, 724-264-8281.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Devon Franklin. It is always a pleasure to be in the house. You are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. Stay right here.
Well, folks, earlier we were telling you about the housing bill. Well, the House has now passed that particular bill. Again, it passed on the Senate on Monday, 85-5. The bill passed in the House 358-32. And so it ends various sparring between both. And so now the bill goes to Donald Trump to be signed. And the goal is to improve the housing stock in this country. All right, folks, let's talk about our marketplace segment. Now, How many people really pay attention to their socks? Do they just throw them on? But the reality is taking care of your feet are critically important. And our next guest, their brand is called Sick Fit, which is innovative designs focused on increasing durability, health, and performance. Roll it. And so Peyton Sickles is the founder. Peyton joins us right now. Peyton, glad to have you here. So, all right, socks. Why? Where did this come from? Where did this idea? Socks are everywhere. Why did you decide to create your own sock brand?
Yes. Well, first, thank you for having me first and foremost. But honestly, I was a Army engineer officer, and there was a lot of jumping out of planes, and there was, you know, hiking, running. There was 60 miles a day, 20 miles a day. It was just constantly on my feet. And I was having a lot of issues myself. So I had blisters, plantar fasciitis, shin splints. I ended up having 2 ACL reconstructs. Eventually, I ended up having a disc burst in my back, and then I had some Achilles injuries. And the doctor told me it was all derived from my feet. So that being said, my soldiers were having the same issues, and I just wanted to fix it for myself and then my soldiers. So.
All right, so that was a lot of jumping, all kinds of stuff that you were doing, but what role do the socks play in all of that?
Yeah, so I was spending about $200 a month on socks, and I was like, this is absolutely ridiculous. And then I was getting a bunch of boots, and then it was just too much on my feet. So eventually I just, I was deployed to Korea at the time, so I decided to just look up how to make socks and engineer socks, and that's exactly how it happened, just off a Google search.
See, we see how y'all engineers think. Okay, so as you were thinking about, again, your own style of socks, and we see, come on, show, we see the different colors with different things. Like no, we only see, yo, come on, show the socks, y'all.
The smell, I get it, I got it.
Yeah, like we know what she looks like. We got her live. Show the socks. Thank you. All right, so we see the colors and everything, but what makes these different in terms of the construction of the socks that make your feet better or feel better?
Yeah, absolutely. So long story short, I'm gonna just show you here. It's probably easier to show you than it is to kind of
go ahead,
put on the screen. But it was essentially offering everything that everybody says they offer and actually putting it in the sock. So for me, I always had issues with my pinky toe rubbing on the pinky toe.
Oh, something wrong with the pinky toe. Oh, you done shot my pinky toe.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Exactly. So the pinky toe and then the Achilles area, those were like hot spots for me. And then being in boots all day, it was always sliding down the leg, and it would get kind of scrunched up in the boot. So it was fixing that, so ensuring that it didn't have a slit rib, and then adding compression levels. So I think what's often overlooked is, one, people think compression socks and they automatically think medical black socks. That doesn't have to be the case. You know, compliance isn't there. So being able to create the everyday compression sock and use sports compression technology instead, and put a couple patents behind it, and be able to help people every day stand all day on their feet.
Okay, so I play a lot of golf, and I like to walk playing golf. How do these socks help with that?
That's exactly who they're made for. Definitely on the golf course. I'm a big golfer myself. I'm a lefty.
Same.
Not many of us out.
Same. I'm a lefty.
Perfect. See, exactly.
What's your handicap?
Say it again.
What's your golf handicap?
Ooh, I just like the driving range. To be honest with you, I just like the driving range.
No, you got to go on a course. You got driving range. That's nice, but you got to go play.
Yeah, I'm not very good. I'll be honest with you. I'm way better at the range.
Oh Lord. Okay. All right. So
now, when you come back to Texas, we'll play a game and spend all day on the course.
Where in Texas?
Dallas.
Okay. Oh yeah, no sweat. Listen, I play all over, so it doesn't matter. I got a set of golf clubs in Dallas, a set in Houston, plus a set here. So I'm always ready to play.
See, you're ready. We got you. So we get the clubs, and then we'll get the socks. We'll make
So now, is it with these socks? Is it a question of padding? Is it in terms of, and we talk about compression? How how does that work if you're going to be again on around 4.5, 5 hours?
Yeah, so I'm going to show you here. You can see it's a little bit thicker than an average sock. So we added an extra layer of protection here on the bottom, so it adds a layer between you and the ground. So it gives you that extra cushion for all-day support. And then additionally, we added here in the back, in the heel, we added something called energy return, so that when your foot hits the ground, it actually absorbs the shock, and it allows you to spend a little bit longer on your feet and recover a bit faster. So we say that, average 8 to 12 hours a day that you can wear the socks, and then afterwards you can recover a little bit faster because you've had that extra layer of protection between you and the ground.
Cool. Questions from the panelists here. I don't see anybody in this panel who's very athletic. Let me see. Let me go to Joe.
You know you're wrong for that. So anyway, I'm not very good at golf either. So, we can just be not good.
We have something in common. We're good.
We still people too. All right. But I got the question. I've got, the middle-age, fly overseas, long black compression socks, okay, that I wear on the plane. However, are these socks that I would wear on the plane, or are you going to make some ones that we can wear on the plane for those of us that aren't that athletic, like Roland says?
First of all, clearly not that clearly not
Yes,
that clearly not that athletic, not that colorful, don't have swagger, but go ahead.
See,
yes.
You know you're wrong, but hey, it is what it is. So.
To answer your question, yes, we're actually launching nationally in the airport space. So we're currently in DFW Airport. You can find us in C19 and the Univision stores. But we're currently rolling out nationally, and we'll have our stocks inside of more airports. But yes, they are made for people who spend all day on their feet, whether that's flying, walking, sitting. But we've created something that's able to be worn for various different demographics and be able to wear it all day. So yes, absolutely, you can wear it in flight, and they're way better than those black ones that you have now. Just throw them away, and then you'll love me forever.
I got you. We'll do that.
Khalil.
I heard you said you're in Texas, but you made a Commanders version. I just think, do you have them in burgundy and gold?
Hell, nobody give a shit about no Commanders. Nobody.
I'm gonna have to be honest. I'm agree with that. I don't think anybody cares about the Commanders.
and I don't give a damn. And I don't give a damn about the Cowboys. But we damn sure don't care about the Commanders. Go. Now ask a real damn question.
All right. So the technology that you have at the heel, is there actually like a cushion in the sock so that when I am coming down from the gym or I'm turning on my heel to toe when I'm making my golf swing, someone's going to say we're not athletic. Is there an actual cushion in the heel of the sock?
Yeah, it is. You can actually see it here. You can see it right here in the fabric. But funny story, the reason that I added that is because we were hiking for like 12 hours or 100 miles, and it was just too much. So I added that layer in there, and then a lot of athletes use it, like volleyball athletes. We've heard some testimonials where they've been able to prevent ankle sprains. We've also had some testimonials for people who had type 2 diabetes and been able to kind of lower their hypertension and neuropathy. So yes, absolutely.
All right, Mustafa.
Cool. Send me my Commander's pair. Thank you.
Hell no. Mustafa.
Well, Peyton, congratulations on the success that you've had so far. I'm a runner. So breathability is really important, especially when you're putting in a number of miles. Can you talk a little bit about, for those folks who, I heard you talk about hiking, but for runners, it's important, not only our shoes, but also the socks and other things that are part of that process.
Yeah, I like to say that, the sock is always overlooked, and it always will be. Everybody immediately goes first to the shoe, and they're like, oh, I had to have the perfect running shoe, when oftentimes it's the sock that truly matters. What you'll see in a lot of runners, we work with a lot of ultra marathoners, triathletes, triathlon, just a plethora of different runners, 5Ks, 10Ks, big races in terms of like Boston Marathon. And we have great testimonials. We have some hard critics out there, so I had to get it right, to be completely honest with you. But that being said, we've noticed that a lot of runners have been switching from polyester and wool to our socks. We use cotton. They just breathe better and they last longer. So on average, what we've heard, I've only been in business for 5 years, and what we hear is our socks last 5 years. So that's, I love to hear that. But we have a lot of runners that tend to love them, and they say that they breathe really well and they were able to recover faster because of that cushioned bottom.
Then, so folks, if you want to check out the socks, go to Sick Fit, go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. You see right there all the different colors of socks, the different style socks. You do not see any damn Commanders socks, and you won't. So again, go to shopblackstarnetwork.com, shopblackstarnetwork.com. So all of these are, do you have any that are footies? And if not, why this particular length? Just curious.
We do have some ankle socks.
Got it.
We have ankle, no-show. Typically, our best sellers are the crew. We're moving back into that crew space. We kind of moved away from it a couple years ago. Now it's super popular and everyone's bringing it back. So we're really heavy in the crew space right now, but we absolutely do. I personally like a quarter sock. That's my favorite, just a white sock. But yeah, I typically wear.
I ain't a fan of that. First of all, the only reason I've even been wearing that style recently, because I injured my left ankle and I actually been wearing a brace on it when I play golf. The doc told me, I'm sorry, Khalil, what were you doing? See, Khalil, let me explain something to you, Khalil. Let me explain something to you, because see, I don't think some of y'all realize I pay attention to everything. So you might think I was asking her a question, and you sitting here, so you trying to sit here and run your damn mouth, and you thought you could sit here and be a smart ass while I was asking her a question, and I would not see what you were doing. And so I don't think you understand who you talking to, Khalil, because again, I see everything. And so I just want to show the folk at home. So let me tell y'all let me teach Khalil a lesson. Why you should I
opened up a Pandora's box.
I'm gonna teach Khalil a lesson. See why you should never ever play games with Uncle Roro, because I see and hear every damn thing. So just so y'all know, Anthony, go ahead and hold on. Don't take the shot yet. Let me see if I can. Okay. I just want to go ahead and show him. So, Khalil, do you see this here? This is a monitor that I look at, and as you see, this right here is the preview monitor. This is the program monitor, and then down here I have 1 panelist, 2 panelists, 3 panelists. That's for a 4th panelist. This box here is in case Peyton, we lose a video signal, we go to a still shot. This is Shop Black Star Network, the website. This is my iPad right here. And this is actually my iPad, and this is me on another signal. So as you see, I see every damn thing. So the next time you try to sit here in motion and make a face while I'm live, I will bust your ass, because I can see what you're doing.
Hey, make sure you get registered to vote. There we go, and buy Peyton socks.
There you go. So again, I am not the one to mess with when it comes to the show. So as I was saying, when the non-golfer interrupted me with his antics, Peyton, I actually injured the left ankle, so I'm wearing a brace, and so I have to wear that higher sock and then roll it on top of the brace. Doc told me he didn't want me playing golf. I was like, say, bruh, I'm just letting you know that's going to happen. So you just going to have to do what you got to do.
You'll be good. We got you. Well, you just got to put on our socks. Actually, it's funny enough, I think that's been the coolest part for me, and the best experience is being able to work with so many different doctors. We work with podiatrists, chiropractors, endocrinologists, just a plethora of different doctors. And we're actually going through a pilot right now with one of the hospitals where we're seeing if our socks actually improve the kidney function. So it's been very eye-opening to kind of see all the doctors and all the data and just kind of all these case studies being built all across a SOC. So it's been very interesting to see, a SOC would take me this far.
So y'all sent some socks. They have not arrived yet. And so I can't wait to when they arrive. We're not sure what the heck happened. Our folk looked all around for the package. And so I can't wait to test the socks out. But folks watching, do me a favor, go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. Shopblackstarnetwork.com. When you support Peyton Socks, Sick Fit, you're supporting this show as well. And so go to the website and get your Sick Fit socks today. Peyton, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot. And get the hell off the driving range. Take your ass to the course. Okay? You gotta graduate. You gotta graduate going from the driving range to the course.
Fair enough. We're coming to Texas, so we're gonna have a great time.
Oh, listen, I'm always ready to play, and I'll be happy to take some Sick Fit money on the golf course. All right.
Fair enough.
I appreciate it. Thanks a bunch. Folks,
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. Thanks a bunch. That is it for us. Let me thank Mustafa. Let me thank Joe. And let me thank smart-ass Khalil, who got busted sitting here. Yes, understand, I am King Petty. Yes, I will absolutely bust you out on the show. So Khalil decided to get baptized today, and now he knows better. All right. Let me thank all three of them for being on today's show. We appreciate it. Thanks a bunch, folks. That is it for us. Do me a favor. Support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Fuck fan club. You want to contribute via Cash App. Use the Stripe QR code. You see it right here on the screen. If you're listening, go to blackstarnetwork.com. All the ways to give there. Of course, you can also support us. That's with credit cards as well. Checks and money order. Make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. PayPal, R. Martin Unfiltered. Venmo, RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Download the Black Star Network app. Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Samsung Smart TV. Be sure to get our swag, our Roland Martin Unfiltered Black Star Network swag, or shopblackstarnetwork.com. And again, you can support the more than 50 black-owned companies that have products available in our marketplace at shopblackstarnetwork.com. Please tell a friend when you support these products, when you buy from these, buy from our site, you also are supporting these black-owned companies, including this one. Follow me on Fanbase. Download the app, and you can, of course, follow me at Roland S. Martin. Let's support black-owned Fanbase. They got some great new things coming out soon, so you want to check that out. And don't forget, be sure to support the other shows on the Black Star Network. A Balanced Life drops every Tuesday. Reverend Dr. Jackie Hood Martin. Then you have, of course, The Other Side of Change with Bria Baker, Jameer Burley every Wednesday. The Second Opinion with Dr. Ebony Jade Hilton drops every Thursday. The Black Table with Dr. Greg Carr drops every Friday, along with Roland's Book Club. Folks, that's it. Also, shout out Lemoyne Owen College. I'm rocking. Y'all know damn well. Y'all ain't gonna never see me in purple and gold, but these are their university colors. And so when I was in Memphis, the president gave me this polo, and so I'm supporting Lemoyne Owen. This is one of the places where I gave a commencement address. They gave me an honorary degree, so can't wait till that is shipped to me so I can actually hang it here in our Black Star Network studios. Folks, so again, shout out to Lemoyne Owen College. Folks, that's it. I'll see y'all tomorrow right here, Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Holla!